In this video, we're going to discuss how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide integers, and really understand how to apply the rules for all four operations. Now, you initially may have been taught to use the number line for adding and subtracting integers, but we're just going to take all four operations and learn the rules and how easy they are to apply to higher level math, such as solving equations, combining like terms, or solving fractions. So let's first start with adding and subtracting integers. I encourage you to take notes as you're watching the video, and if necessary, pause it so you can keep up with what's going on and be sure that your notes are organized and that you got all the key points for you to be able to do your homework. So adding and subtracting integers. There's a couple of rules that goes with this that you can apply. The first thing you need to do is identify the signs. And they're usually in the front of the number. And if there's no sign, that's assumed to be positive. So you're going to identify the signs. Okay, for your answer, take the sign of the biggest number. So that sign will be a part of your answer. If the signs are the same signs mean you're going to add. And if they're different signs, you're going to subtract. And you'll hear me repeat these rules as we go through some examples. So let's look at a few examples. Okay, we have 3 plus 8. Okay, our sign for both is positive. There's no sign here, so we'll assume it's positive. And the 8 is positive. So that means our answer is going to be positive. Since the signs are the same, we're going to add. And you'll get to the point where you do not need to put the positive sign in your answer, but you definitely need to include it for your negative. Also, reading the numbers is important. So this is -2 plus 4 equals. Okay, looking at our sign, we're going to take the sign of the biggest number, which is going to be positive. So our answer is going to be positive. The signs are different, so we're going to subtract the two numbers. So 4 minus 2. Okay, we have -5 minus 7. Take the sign of the biggest number. The biggest number is 7, so our answer is going to be a negative. Both signs are the same, so we're going to add the numbers. So -5 minus 7 is -12. Six plus 4, the sign of the biggest number is positive. The signs are the same, so 6 plus 4 is 10. And this will move very quickly when you see adding and subtracting integers if you understand the signs and the rules. So 9 minus 3, take the sign of the biggest number, is positive. The signs are different because we have a positive here and a negative here, so we're going to subtract the two numbers. 9 minus 3 is 6. -11 minus 6, take the sign of the biggest number, just negative. The signs are the same, so we're going to add 11 and 6 and get 17. So it's pretty simple. Just look for the number, take the sign of that biggest number, that's going to be included in your answer. If the signs are the same, you add. If the signs are different, you subtract the two numbers. And there's going to be a time when there's more signs than numbers. So let's take a look at that example. So now we have 6 plus a negative 3. What I'd like to do is just eliminate this number. Okay, still means the same value. We're adding a 6 to a negative 3. Take the sign of the biggest number. The signs are different, so it's going to be a positive 3. Again, another example, we're just going to eliminate this plus sign. It's going to be 10 minus 8. Sign of the biggest number is positive. The signs are different, so we're going to subtract. The answer is a positive 2. Okay, now we have a different type of problem. And these parentheses is just helping us separate the numbers with the operation signs. So this reads negative 6 minus a negative 8. Anytime we have two negative signs right together, it's going to make a big positive sign out of it. So now this is really saying negative 6 plus 8. So taking the sign of the biggest number is positive. The signs are different, so 8 minus 6 is 2. And try not to overanalyze the numbers. Just remember the rules. We have two negative signs together, so we're going to draw that to be a huge positive sign. So now we have 7 plus 3 is 10. And that's it for adding and subtracting integers. Take the sign of the biggest number. If the signs are the same, you add. If the signs are different, you subtract the two numbers. Okay, the rules for multiplying and dividing are the same. Okay. If both are positive, both signs are positive, your answer is going to be positive. If both signs are negative, your answer is still going to be positive. Then if the signs are different and you have a positive and a negative, your answer will be negative. So I'm going to leave these rules here and let's take a look at some examples. Now you may see multiplication written a couple of ways now if you're in a higher grade. So we have 8 times negative 2. And it could be in parentheses like this. So we have a positive 8 and a negative 2. So positive and negative, our answer is going to be negative. 8 times 2 is 16. Negative 4 times negative 3. The sign in front of the number for both is negative, so our answer is going to be positive. 4 times 3 is 12. You may also see multiplication written like this. Anytime a number is directly beside a parentheses, it means multiplication. So a positive 5 times a positive 7, both signs are positive, so your answer is going to be positive, 35. You just simply multiply. Okay. 10 times negative 2. The signs are different. There's a positive and a negative number. So our answer is going to be negative. Multiply. 10 times 2 is 20. Negative 9 times negative 8. Two negatives is a positive, so 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 2 is 24. 9 times 3 is 12. 9 times 4 is 16. 9 times 5 is 25. 9 times 6 is 24. 9 times 7 is 22. For our last one, a negative times 2. Now, anytime you see a sign without a number, we're going to assume that there's a little 1 there. And because the sign is sitting right beside the parentheses, it's really saying -1 times 2. And our answer is going to be a -2. You'll learn in your later grades that you would distribute this inside the parentheses, which is multiplication. Okay, so let's take a look at some division problems. Using the same rules for multiplication. Okay, we have -10 divided by 2. The 2 is positive. So negative and positive, the answer is going to be negative. 10 divided by 2 is 5. You may also see the negative sign just written out in front of the problem that is not with any number. It still means one is negative and one is positive. So the answer is going to be a -3. And it's going to be different when you have a -28 divided by a -4. That means we have two negatives. Our answer is going to be positive. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And our last example is -6 divided by -2. Two negatives are positive. The answer would be 3. Okay, so just to look at an example of what we're covered, adding and subtracting integers. We're going to take the sign of the biggest number. It's going to be part of our answer. The signs are different, subtract. There's two signs. We're just going to cross out the first one if it's a positive and a negative. 6 minus 3 is 3. There's two negative signs together. We're going to draw over top of it a big positive sign. And our answer is going to be 12. Because we're going to add. For multiplying, a -7 times 8 is going to be a -56. For division, -121 divided by 11 is going to be a -11. And that concludes this video about integers.